Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. She's only a little girl. After all, Mr. Winterbank's life was taken in this very room only last night. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm so excited! Real detective work, let's go! What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to hop back into the Great Ace Attorney adventures. And yeah, a lot happened in the last episode. It's been about a week, maybe a little bit less, because I started recording my other series, House of Ashes, which if you're into cinematic, kind of choose-your-own-adventure games, story games, especially horror games, then go check out that channel. I'm like 3 episodes in, give it some love. In the last episode, we got to pal around with Iris. We tried visiting Sholmes in the hospital, because of his gun shop, but he was not there. I don't think we saw him at all that episode. And then let's see, oh yeah, we visited Gina for a little bit, but talked to her about some stuff. But she didn't want to have us defend her, or even the London lawyer, the state lawyer. She didn't want them defending her either. So we left. We tried investigating, the shop, but we weren't allowed to. We saw just how whipped Gregson is, though. like dang, Iris has him wrapped around her little pinky finger. And we found out why, because of the adventures of Sherlock Holmes stories, and how he's portrayed in them as like this high and mighty figure, and he's been getting special attention and whatnot because he appears in these stories. And if Iris chooses to say bad things about him, then it'll tank his reputation. But yeah, so we need Gina to say that, that agree and sign that we're defending her. So we ended up going back. Oh, but before that, Gregson had told us that Susato was, at the law house with, what's his face? With, Strongheart. Because of the telegrams. So we went there, and we found out the unfortunate truth that she has to go back to London. I'm curious if she will or not. I have a feeling she will. I mean, that'll kind of stink. But I don't see why she wouldn't. Because we found out the reason is because, her father is gravely ill. So I can't imagine, unless he recovers somehow, that she's just going to be like, nah, I'm going to stay here. But who knows? Who knows what'll happen. But she hasn't left yet. She's still with us for now. And she's doing the best she can to help us with the case before she has to leave. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's with us for like the investigation. And then when we hit the, maybe the first trial, she'll be gone. Because I think she said it just in one day. So I think like the next day from now, tomorrow or whatever, will be when she leaves, if I'm not mistaken. And then the last big eventful thing to happen is, because we needed to talk to Gina and have her defend us, we went back to her once more with Susato, and she revealed to us that she was hiding some secrets regarding the third case with McGilded, and that a lot of her testimony was fabricated and false, and that McGilded was kind of keeping her, blackmailing her. And, and he basically told her all this stuff. I'm trying to remember exactly what. Oh, yeah, he's the one who told her to take the coat with the discs in him and to, give him over to the pawn shop. And if he doesn't come to collect him or get in touch with her, before the 2 weeks are up, to get the coat back, which is what she was doing, in this case. I had come up with a theory that maybe McGilded is still alive and doing stuff behind the scenes, and he faked his own death. We'll see if anything like that comes to light. I don't have a good track record with these things. McGilded told her to lie about what she said in court, so false testimony from her. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into it. I think we'll finally get to do some investigating, because as far as I know, we still have like no evidence. We haven't actually done any investigating regarding this case because of all the red tape. But now I think we're good to go. So let's dive right in. 16th of April, 1:26 p.m. Winterbank's Pawnbrokery. Let's go. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Ah, Gregson. Now to thrust these reputation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Your ladyship. Your highness. How? I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? Tell me. I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Glug, 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 glug. Ah, how delightful. Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes. Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime then? Please? Do as you please. Just don't touch my fish and chips. You know where it happened? Through that door behind the counter. That's right. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Winterbank and Gina. Yeah, I'm excited. We haven't been back there at all. Minus when we first found them. Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating the storeroom as well, Inspector? Nah, I don't see why. If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through. It's taking forever, even with the lads working around the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the yard needs to investigate urgently. He keeps bringing this case up. That must be what the Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is don't get under my feet, sunshine! Duly noted. Come then, let us not waste any time! Hurrah! Let's do it, Susato. You're gonna be leaving me soon. Okay, all we can do is examine, so before we go back there, let's examine out here. Okay, I can't talk to these guys, but let's take a look at this. I tried examining this last time. Ah, look here. Okay, April 16th. And there's blood all over it. Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Oh yeah, presumably Mr. Winterbank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. I would hope not. Ah, well... Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Hopefully he's a good shot. Sorry? It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, you know? Isn't that right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once. Oh, silly. Forget that for now, Bruno. Let's examine this bullet. Yes, let's. What's that around the bullet hole? Blood? Paper? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. Yay, my favorite music. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Bruno? I see what you did there. I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see? When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh, the glasses? Oh no, what is that scary looking thing? Huh? Hurley and I haven't actually come up with the name for it yet. Oh, the gun? But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch! Oh boy. What? Oh, okay, so we can see blood easier. Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. There! Does it make sense now? Yes. I think I'm starting to understand. Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see? Yes, how wonderful. Oh, so like different types of blood, like does like A blood produce a different color than like B blood? Or something, so that you can see if like two blood stains match? That would be cool. The chemical fire is combined with the blood and makes the color change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? I bet Ginny would see it's bleeding great. Aha! So, whose blood are we looking at then? Or if I have to compare it to another sample. Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different color, so no idea. Just find someone whose blood turns the same color, and you'll know who it belongs to in a flash. I don't volunteer for this. Put out your arm, Runo. It's more like two flashes, really, isn't it? One flash or two. This could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So we must make a note of it in the court record. Okay. A sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turn different colors. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have reagent left, sure. Okay. Cool. What else we got? There's the door. 3 golden balls. That's right. That sign says the shop is a pawnbrokery. A bit like your armband says you're a defense lawyer. And what's the significance of the 3 golden balls? Does it have some special meaning? No. I expect Hurley would like to answer that question when he's back from the hospital. You mean you don't know? You could just say that. Okay, what about this thingy? This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. 3D. It makes you think, when Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Yeah, those were simpler times, simpler times. Okay, let's check the shelf. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? I would. Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? Are you alright, Runo? Oh, it's just... well, looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole. But when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. And look at all these gold plates and platinum plates, bronze plates. Who sold so many plates, I wonder? That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. That'd be fun if there were just a bunch of plates. You see Kiryu walk in. Excuse me, I have a pile of plates to sell you. Okay. That's a music box. Do you have them where you're from, Runo? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? Yes. Give us some of that music. Lovely. What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Grigsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. She has him by the balls. I love Iris. She's a funny little nugget. Oh yeah, this thing. I forget what this is. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. This wasn't the camera thing, was it, that takes pictures? Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that he was supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. Oh, I think this is the thing. But for that, he used that great big contraption over there. Ah, well, That's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I can make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Okay, I guess that's that then. Wait a minute. Oh, can I examine the calendar again? It didn't check off. Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. I told you to put out your arm, Runo. Let's run the experiment. So obviously I know the body had blood under it, so if I'd be able to see if it's Windibank's blood. Okay, I can't examine that. There's the article ledger here, and Mr. Windibank's notes, and what's this? It looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. Oh, look on the back. There's some writing. Isn't that the exact same picture we got with the cat? Is there? Oh, show us, Susie. Show us. 15th of February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, 1 gentleman's overcoat. It looks like it might have like a bloody fingerprint on it. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th of April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1? Clearly it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing. Which belonged to McGilded. It would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. Don't I have that, though? Hang on. I have this ticket. Is it I forget. Is this a different ticket? Oh, 1 small box. Yeah, this is a different item. Couldn't remember. I seen Mr. Windibank just use whatever piece of paper he happened to have to hand. Yeah. But this photograph of a cat. It looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. I wonder. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print. I didn't, and it's been a week. But what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out! Let's see then. Alright, let the cogs turn. Let's do this. Are they exactly the same? Is this like a spot the difference? Nah, they look exactly the same to me. Yes, they are exactly the same. Hehe, I've got it. These 2 photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Tell us. Hehe, do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't able to talk to her until this moment. Can I talk to her about anything? Oh, okay. Hold the thought. I kind of want to just examine. Yeah, we're not going to even click on the door because that'll probably take us inside, I guess. That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Windibank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. That he was. He was willing to shoot himself if anything got stolen or messed up in any way. Okay. Special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Stone. Different people's blood turns different colors. I didn't actually read this, did I? The paperwork signed by Gina to put me in charge of a defense. Showing this to Scotland Yard detective gains us access to this crime scene. I, the undersigned, agree to legal representation by the lawyer named hereunder in regard to the following incident. Defendant Gina Lestrade. Alleged offense, murder of Baker Street pawnbroker. Date of trial 17th April, 10 a.m. Attorney-in-law Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Sweet. Oh, cool. Name unknown, Window Bank's main shop, color green. So you can kind of keep track of things. I just want to see what happened. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know. I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure. Even if I didn't intend to. What is this witchcraft? Poor Ginny. This is all my fault, really. But she'll be alright, won't she? In court tomorrow, I mean. I'll defend her with everything I've got. You better, Ryunosuke. So, she'll be alright, won't she? Am I that bad at instilling confidence? Let us talk about the photographs. So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Winterbank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints? I don't know. There's gotta be something. Actually, that's not quite right. I mean, unless he's gonna say it had nothing to do with the prints themselves and what's written on the back, because we know that they're different items. Sorry? If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Have another look at them now. I honestly don't know. Again, unless we're gonna look at the back. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? Maybe? I'm looking at certain details, like the paws of the cat on the right don't look as neat. Oh, you know what? Yeah, kinda. If you look closely at the details, some of them, they don't look as smooth, they look a bit off. Yeah, I can kinda see. I think so. It's very subtle though, yeah, exactly. But yeah, now that I'm looking at things like the shadow and stuff, there is slight differences. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're set, you see. No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Oh, yes! That's what Mr. Sholmes told us yesterday. Yeah, we were just talking about it. Let's take a look. You see, there it is, just over there. Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Hee. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What? Really? I don't know, does that have to do with, like, bending them or something? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. I can show off now. Then I'll be able to tell you. She's over the moon, bless her. Bless her little heart. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Yes, aren't you curious? I actually am, so let's go. Yeah, bring on the music. Woo! Have you ever considered, Runo, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just open them and it works. Science. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes. Shocking. Some people have one eye, you know. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away what you see with your left eye and what you see with your right eye, or ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Oh, I think I get it with the pictures. So the picture on the left and the picture on the right will come together as one picture, and that's how it makes that 3D effect, right? Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. My brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. High five, brain! I think I see. So the pair of photographs consist of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. You're so smart. So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'd be able to see depth in these prints? Yes, Runo, you're beginning to understand. And the stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that? Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself, without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Okay, how do we do this? Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go. Susato-san really loves this kind of thing. I'm kind of intrigued as well. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. Watch me and see if you can copy. Are we actually gonna do it? Because that would be so cool. Oh, that's so adorable. I think I have a new thumbnail. I don't know why I find that cute. Make your eyes do this. All right, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? I love it. I don't know why I'm getting so much joy out of this. There, how's that? You all look so adorable. Wonderful, now it's your turn, Runo. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes. Oh wait, that's her talking. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Okay, this is really cool if we're gonna start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. Okay, hang on. I don't know how close I need to be. I'm not like right near my TV. You should see two overlapping images like this. I don't know if we're actually supposed to do this or not. I'm doing it. You should see two overlapping images like this. I think I read that already. You try it now, Runo. I'm just gonna have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now, the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then to try crossing your eyes again. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Oh yes, I see! So cool! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I can look at it all day. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. I'm getting dizzy, Mr. Naruhodo. Your turn, Runo. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like this, is it? There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. I don't know who discovered this witchcraft, but I'm all for it. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. So the only conclusion I can come then is that these aren't necessarily two separate tickets, right? They were probably written on the same piece and maybe cut in half or something. No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Snap, crackle, pop. Then set the pair of photographs in the stand at the back end. It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. Oh, I just find it fun. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. A photograph depicting a sweet little white cat. I feel as though I have another print just like this one. Okay, we're gonna examine this one too. So this is the second of the two photographic prints of the cat. And it really does look like Wagahai. Waggy! It looks exactly the same as the first photograph at first glance. I suppose that's what's so compelling. Actually, now we have both pictures. I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So I need to cross my eyes and try to get the two cats to merge in the middle as one. I don't know, it's not really happening for me. I don't know if I'm not close enough. It's just a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this in the first place must have spent a long time staring. Yeah, it's like it expects me to do it myself, but I guess I'm one of those people who can't do it well. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilda 2 months earlier. Article deposited one gentleman's overcoat, and the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat. Yes, for a small box. Deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Could that have anything to do with all of this? Take a look at this blood stain. Mr. Naruhodo! What the deuce is that? I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yes. Somebody got ketchup all over this. It looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san had picked up on that. Of course I did, Ryunosuke. I'm not an idiot. Well, in that case. Yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. Aha! A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Winterbank. There's what looks like a bloody finger mark on it. Okay, I think that's it. I like how this investigation is rolling out. We had to do blood analysis, which I didn't think we had to do in this game because that seemed, you know, futuristic. Okay, so I guess we can just go ahead and present that. Oh, that looks like blood. You betcha. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. I'm on the case. You can leave the rest to me. Die! Is it green? Okay, so it doesn't match the green blood. Look at that. Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Let's do that. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. I'm sure we will. Well, this particular stain of blood. Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Not yet. How could I? We don't have a known sample of the same color. Without that, it's impossible to know. Oh, how very vexing. I wonder. What? Well, it's true that the color doesn't help us. But what about considering how the mark came to be there in the first place? You might have an idea about that, mightn't you, Runo? Not if you're staring at me like that, no. Let's try that again, shall we? Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? I guess I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... let's see... It could... I think Pop Winterbank, maybe? It's on his desk. You think somehow it could be Mr. Winterbank's blood? Well, he would have been the last person to have handled the ticket. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. But Mr. Winterbank had no injuries before he was shot, that is. We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. Yes, of course. Perhaps it's not a concept you can really grasp unless you've bled before yourself. Funnily enough, I've accidentally cut myself before, but thanks for the mildly threatening advice, Iris. Okay, so I guess Gina? Again, it's been a while. She did get into an altercation with that, Benedict guy. Okay, it's gotta be Gina. Oh my, you think this is Gina's blood? Yes. It was Gina who brought the ticket here to Winterbanks, after all. Okay, is it not right again? But Gina doesn't own any gloves, at all. Oh. And Ginny wasn't injured either, was she? I'm doing really bad at this. Okay, I know. Trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. I honestly don't know. I mean, thrice-fired Mason? Thrice-fired Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim? Of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Winterbanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. Intriguing. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago? Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. That he was. I was thinking of him for a moment, but Because of the blood, it makes sense that it was Mr. Mason since, he was shot. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGill had no injuries at the time, anywhere on his body. From which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Thank you, I guess. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Runo. After 3 tries, you finally got it. Very well, let's make a note of this. Okay. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Winterbank. The blood on it had been identified as Mr. Mason's. And the blood sample portfolio. 2 samples of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colors. Okay. Okay, so... Oh, that's cool. So we know it's Thrice-Fired Mason. And this one's unknown. I won't be surprised if we find out it belongs to Winterbanks. We'll have to see what color he turns. Okay, I think the only thing we have left to do is to go back here. Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said. Is it time to go back there? Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Doesn't look too good. Mr. Winterbank, face down on the floor, with Gina beside him. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation. Try not to puke. Yes, of course. And we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. Let's do this, Runo. Don't worry. If there are clues in there, I'll find them. Okay, so do I have to move in there? Ah, yes. The storeroom. The storeroom where pawned items are kept until they're redeemed or forfeited. It's also where Mr. Winterbank's body was discovered. '16th of April, Winterbank's storeroom. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. She's only a little girl. After all, Mr. Winterbank's life was taken in this very room only last night. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm so excited! Real detective work, let's go! Or not. Ah, there's Gregsy. Ah! I thought he left. Oh, bye. Wait, Inspector! Come back! What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think at Scotland Yard, Inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Look at Iris. She's sad. Try and comfort her. Well... Ah, phooey. Ah, fiddlesticks. I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. That's right. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Be a man. Eh? Come again? I'm no good at this. But I'll try. Miss? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Ha ha! Smile. Good job there. I don't think that went very well. Why? I must scatter. Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet. And we have investigated you ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, Hurley. And inquire into how Mr. Storm's operation is going. But first. That's not what I meant to do. But first. We must look around. Should I go with the obvious bloodstain first? Let's save that for last. What is this? What is in this box? Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Ah! Is that where the manuscript was being held? What is it, Iris? That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. I had a feeling. Oh! Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, you sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. What do you see, ladies? Ah! It was there. Iris' story was there. Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited it here. But still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really? That's not a very well hidden frown. Cool. So, it hasn't even been stolen. The question is, were they trying to get to it, though? Maybe What's-His-Face was able to hold them off? Here's the story manuscript. A long unpublished story that Mr. Storm deposited at the pawnbrokery of the victim, Mr. Winterbank. It's entitled The Hound of the Baskervilles. Okay, let's take a look at that. The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? That's right, we still don't know that. I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me. I'm so sorry. I can read your mind. Okay, it doesn't appear that there's anything else of note. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look! Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be, if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policemen shuffling around. But other than that, not much I can do about that, Sunshine! I know. Just an observation, Gregsy. Okay, anything else? I see the gun. Okay. Everything else is just the stuff on the walls. Okay. Let's do the gun and then the chalk outline. This is a revolver, a real one. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Winterbank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. It's a long story. But anyway, we saw Mr. Winterbank with us yesterday, didn't we? So either he was shot with it or another gun killed him. I sought to take my own life. It must be the same gun. But the gun is still on the floor here. And we know that the two silhouettes that ran away, they had their gun with them because they shot at Hurley, so this might not have been the gun that killed him. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, Gina was holding it. That was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. That is right. Bit of a pickle we find ourselves in. Mr. Winterbank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Ah, good point. Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun had been fired. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Okay, noted. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. He's a big boy. And look, they spilled ketchup all over the floor again. Poor Mr. Winterbank. He was a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once, through the heart. Most likely, the fellow died instantly. He would have felt a thing. Wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood then. Makes sense. Ah. I don't like to ask such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Use your thingy. Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Is it gonna be green? Oh, no, blue. So, now we know the color of the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Winterbank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the blood stain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway. Okay, 3 samples of blood. Cool. I like it. I like how we have a collection of blood. We'll have to figure out. I'm sure they will all come into play at some point. So the only one we don't know is the green blood. That could be Gina's. I'm thinking maybe one of the robbers. You know, maybe one of those 2 silhouettes as they entered the shop. Maybe Winterbank shot at them or something. Maybe he recognized them. Okay, we can still examine it though. Iris? Sad Iris. Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. I apologize. I suddenly have the hiccups. I'm trying to just talk through it. But I keep, like I'll be in the middle of a line and then a hiccup will come out. Like that. I don't know how easily you can hear that. Let us talk to Gregson. But first, let me present some of the stuff we found. See if he has anything to say about it. Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest? Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles. Ah, most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating. And I don't suppose. Would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time? Good question. I can't really remember. I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just await its publication with eager anticipation. You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable. As usual. You looking to be arrested, Sunshine? I didn't mean it like that. And even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Just mine. Let's go down the list here. Well, let me take a look at this. So, yeah, we got Mason and Winterbank is blue. Just gotta find out who the green is. Okay, I'm gonna assume since he had nothing to say about this, he has nothing to say about that. And I already showed him my armband, so let's just talk about let's talk about Sholmes first. Gregsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? The thing is, don't mince your words, Inspector. Please! We must know! You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No, the operation done and dusted. It's just that, well... Out with it! Susato, take down! Yes, ma'am. They use something called the general anesthetic. It's the latest thing, renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body? Anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. I like how all these inventions are just coming about kind of as necessary for the plot. Like, oh yes, anesthetic. It's this newfangled technology. The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for them to nod off, so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh my! Oh, that's not good. No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in the system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes round again. Hurley. That's not good at all. The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get the word to you. Immediately. What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Okay, the scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? For sure. You got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Thanks for that, fascinating input. Iris, could you lend me a hand? Shoot him! Shoot him! So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh, yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. I will explain myself at once. Last night, at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to this storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing? Quite right, ma'am. You're quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible. Oh. As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thus wise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child, also known as Gina. Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. You best watch your mouth. My bad. Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. It's an expression, damn it. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. Oh, no, I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand. No. That's the one. Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? Uh-oh. And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector? Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend. In something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that's all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Is that it? Because I'm pretty sure I've examined everything. But let's try going back to the shop. Okay. I'll try presenting her the manuscript. Oh, my manuscript? Mr. Sholmes said he deposited it at Winterbanks and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? It worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Oh, maybe. It's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I don't give him enough good lines. That's got to be it. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that differently isn't the reason, but... Oh, sorry, that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. Because this is Sherlock Holmes we're talking about. Or Sherlock Holmes. Whatever. Should I try going somewhere else? Maybe I can try visiting Gina? '16th of April, local prison, cell 13. Gina doesn't appear to be here. I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute. What is it, Iris? Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? Ginny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my! Prison break! Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse. Oh, maybe. Calm down, Runo. I was only joking, of course. Oh. Right. You had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction. Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight your words carry. Watch your tongue. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose a light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms. Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would just have thrown his head back and guffawed. Oh, like that. I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime. Yes, come along then, Runo. Come along, Susie. Okay, nothing to do here. Let's try the hospital, even though he's apparently in a coma or something. Oh, we didn't get any dialogue. I mean, it's weird. I'm sure there's something else I gotta do back at the pawnbrokers. But I just want to make sure. This is a random place to go back to. Let's try the suite. The only other place is the law office. Okay, I think that's it. The only place is to go. The only other thing is to go back to the shop. I mean, I technically didn't show him this. Oh, really? Inspector, what do you make of this? Oh, what have we here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket for McGilda's overcoat. The one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? Think you know better than me, do ya? No, I didn't mean to, Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't, of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold as to ask? This is a second ticket. A second one? Seems that Mr. McGilden, in fact, had another article in storage here at Winterbanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. There we go. I should have just kept presenting him stuff. The ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilda's overcoat. You mean to tell me? Yes, there was more than just the music box disc, it seems. Huh. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly. Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilda deposited another article here with Mr. Winterbank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it? Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilda. It could be an important clue. Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. I got nothing. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. I'll go barking. Yum, 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 yum. Fish and chips. Fish and chips. This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. Pull yourself together. That's enough sauce from you, sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? True. Oh yes, of course. Articles only held it for about 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then? That's right, it's been forfeited. Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time. I assume you already did and you found nothing? Oh. There are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been McGilded. That information not written in the ledger. Well, I think we should at least have a look at just in case. Of course, your ladyship, of course. Anything you say. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Dong! 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 Ah! I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Winterbank set such a wicked trap? I doubt he set out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh, right. We tried that before. Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Runo? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Really? Did I say that? Yes. You did. I like how they did that. They put the little dialogue under their portrait. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Huzzah! Let's go. For real this time. This might actually end the chapter then. Possibly. 16th of April, 5:51 p.m. Local prison cell 13. You hear, Gina? There she is. Ah, Gina, good. You're back. Ah! Bloomin' heck! The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Eh? Oh. Didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Winterbanks. Oh, right. Okay, she did not seem pleased. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not... Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? Come on. I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right. I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Okay. We found this at Mr. Winterbank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. That's right. She was saying that she didn't think it was there. Ooh. Ah! Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Winterbank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. Maybe Gina's the one who did that. Maybe she was actually, after our talk, maybe she actually did want to see if it was in there. And then maybe she was ransacking it, and then maybe all the others, the actual incident happened around that. Or maybe even Pops walked in on her. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? Eh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Ah! Why don't you tell us what happened? Please. Okay, we'll talk about that as soon as I show you some other stuff. Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Winterbanks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now? Eh? What there? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets? Surely not. Well, this one has a very obvious mark on it. That would appear to be blood. Eh? Does that ring any bells? I don't know. It all looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. I guess we can talk about this. Gina, I'd like to thank you for signing these papers. If you want to thank me, you can do it once you've got me off the hook. Alright then. Wait, what? Shouldn't she be thanking me then? You know what, Mr. Nairo Odo? It ain't good manners to expect thanks if you do someone a favor. I know that. She's as tricky with words as she is with her fingers. Okay. What about the original ticket? Here, Gina, look at this. Okay. Why not? Somebody say something. Oh, alright then. Blimey, give it a read with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Winterbanks that night. And we're gonna talk about it right now. Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story is the latest Sholmes' adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes. At least 5,000 pounds. What? So, you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you? No, Ginny. How could you? I wonder if that's really it, or maybe she was actually doing it for Iris. To see if Sholmes really kept it there or not. What? Wait, no. Hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, was really there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris' sake. Isn't that right? Ah. We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. You're a good girl. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Fair-faced lawyers, the lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. Yep. She's had some bad run-ins with adults. I'm telling you, that manuscript ain't in at Winterbanks. You'd soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth, sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Even she had her doubts. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. Okay. Keep on going. It wasn't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. He wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest. If he'd really deposited the manuscript at Winterbanks. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. Oh. But Iris' lot ain't like mine. She got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes the stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounds like to me, anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Ah. Well, that's how I see it, yeah? You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Ah. Yes. And we never thought any differently, did we? Look. Give it a rest, will ya? I ain't all this chummy nonsense, do you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, scupper. She's really hiding her true feelings. She's a British tsundere. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. Oh. Yeah, because I think this is the first time we've seen this pose. Is it blood on both of her cuffs? Are some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Ginny now. Okay, I'm going to talk about this first. We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Ginny, rip them up and chuck them, would ya? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. This cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So, what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I doubt that. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. That didn't work. So I think we're supposed to represent the blood. Blood findings. Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, you think the cops would have done a better job to notice that? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that spattered from Mr. Winterbank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Yeah, take it easy, Iris. Die, Ginny! Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. Have a taste of your own medicine. My hat. Let's see. Ooh, it's all over her. Purple. Oh, is it? Wait. Isn't that Mason's blood? Hang on, I'm gonna take a look. It's purple, right? Not blue. Yeah, that's Mason's blood. Oh, and I just realized it's all over the coat. Oh, and this is Mr. McGilded's coat. Ooh, okay. Oh my! What the? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Aha, yes. It was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. That's right. I knew it. What? What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling off a story! I think we know. Okay. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Iris's unpublished work. Yes, so Mr. Sholmes was telling us all the truth. He did indeed deposit it for safekeeping with Mr. Winterbank. True, but then... that still leaves the question of how Susato-san knew the full title. I haven't read it myself, of course. Ah, no. I realized I spoke carelessly last night. It was a dreadful mistake. I know that you must have your reasons for not telling us anymore. I'm so sorry. In time, in time. This one document could be the key to Gina's fate. We must fight tooth and nail for her freedom. Tooth and nail! You're very passionate about it, I see. Not that I don't understand that. You know, I was surprised to see how neatly Gina signed her name. Oh. You wouldn't have expected it from an orphan East End pickpocket, would you? Well, this is Great Britain with a wonderful education system. Wait a minute. This was written with a foodie brush. And by a very skilled hand. Is that Japanese? Ah! It was you who wrote it, wasn't it? Oh dear. Gina was insistent, so I couldn't refuse. Interesting, okay. Okay, tell us the truth of the omnibus case. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilda's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Hey, it's me again. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul would it rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilda trying to pull the victim to his feet. No. If that was what would have really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilda's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. The plot thickens. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough. But there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. You... And that's that. I thought it was going to cut to be continued right there. Mr. Naruhodo. That horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. So stupid! I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. RB, how could I have let that happen? Yeah, that's a bit of a pickle. He ended up dying anyway. 2. Bruno, did you believe him though? No, we were very skeptical. Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed... Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is the defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? A lawyer's weapon. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. Kazuma? You mean Kazuma-sama? Listen, Ryunosuke. Wow, it's been a long time since I've spoken. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. Yeah! Kazuma, buddy, I miss ya. Hehe. What's funny, Gina? Cool. Sounds like in this Empire Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Pardon? Well, come on. Look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learnt your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone's always stabbed you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one. Get hurt by no one. That's one philosophy. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? Think carefully, damn it. How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all. Now, Mr. Armor Believer Lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. No, you're dead to me. I trust you, Gina. Maybe I shouldn't after everything you've done, but I do. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Are you all faked? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? That's true. She just doesn't want us to have anything to do with it. What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo? Didn't you hear all what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just tripped me off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you in all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. Like me. It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. You better believe it. What? What do you expect me to say to that? Sign the damn papers. Oh, is she crying? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern lot are... I don't know what you are. I don't get ya. It's decided. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out alright in the end, I think. And is that it? Oh. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once! Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Miss Susato? I thought it was ending. Somebody is there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What? Mr. McGilded. It's you. Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh. Hello there. I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. We were just standing here. Gregsy? Oh, dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief. Listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived. This very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye-bye and bye. Ta-ta to the what? That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Volderdash and Piffle! Oh, but I want to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency that the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will, well... Emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing! Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Pip pip cheerio and all that. Alright, Gregsy, if you have to. But let's chat soon. Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. Toodaloo. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. I want to get out of here. Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. One of life's pleasures. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Miss Susato. Is this goodbye? Or are you leaving in the morning? Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. That's right. She just don't live there. And like I said, I think she goes tomorrow. And so our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. Uh-oh. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. Sorry. I'm invested. I just thought it felt like this was ending. 16th of April, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Naruhodo-san. It's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Susato-san? Today's been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Sholmes was shot before our eyes. Gina was arrested. And all in the back of the news that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I'm gonna miss you. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm. And yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. Just say it. I love you, Naruhodo. Kiss me. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparation for my departure tomorrow. One final task? Like, I know that we're, like, at the end of the chapter, so, like, I can't... Okay, I presented her all this. One final look to make sure... What's the matter with me? Why am I examining things at a time like this? This is my last chance to talk to Susato-san before she leaves. But look at all the stuff, Susato! Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go through them. It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we managed to establish this office. It was finally feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Susato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? It seems to me, there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets, and like a jewel, the light plays off them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we only see a small number of the total facets. I think that's a typo. And what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. True enough, Ryunosuke. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on, for as long as we live. That's so true. I didn't know you were such a poet, Ryunosuke. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That all the facets will be illuminated and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san. I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's been just 2 months. You've grown so much. Sorry? I've what? Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant, I heard it all. Don't you worry. Do you know what time you will leave London in the morning? Yes. I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m. Oh geez, don't bother waking me up. I have some sleep to catch up on. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. Yeah, we have a defense tomorrow. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. Kind of a big deal. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you'll find it hard to sleep. Yeah. But please, for me, do try. Got it. Okay, what's this task? You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this. Oh my god, is that her book? What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus. The McGilded case? It seems to me that this case of Mr. Winterbank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is connected. It's very much tied up with that omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you. Got it. With everything else she's had to think about, Susato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. Now go kick butt tomorrow. I can only hope that I will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Susato-san. I will do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. I gotta say, she's up there. As far as like helpfulness, a lot of the other assistants in these other games just kind of pal around with you, but she's actually like studied up on law and actually providing like really helpful insight. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Wait, why? Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. Dang it! Notes collated by Miss Susato about the McGilded case that we worked on 2 months ago. I kind of want to look at it, but maybe we can save it for the beginning of the next episode. Just remind me. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room. Susato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow, Kick some ass! Good night. Wait, there's something I need to say. Hiya! Oh gosh. Ow. Why? What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? You're upside down, ha? Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears. Aww. Such a sad farewell. And she runs into her room. I'll just sleep down here. Susato-san. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about that nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes, and as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed and I fell into a deep sleep. Ellipses, ellipses, ellipses. More ellipses. Even more ellipses. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm awake. Is that it? Good lord. Oh. 17th of April, the small hour, St. Sinners Hospital, Ward 3. Okay. Are we gonna see, Sholmes? Yes, I quite understand. Is that a doctor or... That is a great weight off my mind. Maybe that's Sholmes. It is. He's up. Rest assured, I shall put everything in place exactly as we have discussed. Thank you so much. Who is he talking to? It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Miss... Oh, sorry. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. I'll just talk normally. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. Okay, this is Susato. My dear madam. Interesting. I wonder... That seemed like a very quick little, subtle, like, goodbye. So she... Did she stop there in the middle of the night? I mean, I guess the takeaway is that he's supposed to... Isn't he supposed to be... Unless it wore off, he's supposed to be, like, out of it, like, unconscious. That's what Gregson said anyway, like he wasn't awake, and he seemed fine there. Maybe that was the takeaway there, but... I don't know. Yeah, well, almost at 2 hours. I will have to decide whether I want to split this into 2 episodes or not. I'm thinking it might be. But yeah, so a lot of that was just investigating. We got to do this cool little blood matching, which I really like. That's a really cool feature that I hope they carry out, carry forward into the second game. Because it's cool, you get it, like, we have the little pack, the little sack that contains all the different blood samples and whose belongs to who, which colors belongs to which person. It's cool. I like it. And yeah, and then, like I said, we got to finally defend Gina. We had a lot of sweet moments. Like, even though Gina was, even at the end there, she's still kind of acting all tsundere and just like, whatever, do what you want. She obviously wants this. She's still mistrusting. But we're trying to prove that she can trust us. And I think she does. She's just not able to express that or admit that. And then, of course, that scene with Susato was really sad. Definitely feels like we're having a goodbye. I mean, we might see her, like, at the very end or something, maybe. But definitely seems like she might be gone for the rest of the case. Because that definitely felt like a substantial goodbye. But who knows? There might be more going on here. I'm hoping she maybe has a reason to come back. Maybe save our bacon again like she did in the first case with some decisive evidence. But if she's leaving the country, it seems unlikely that we'll see her. At least not until the case is resolved. But yeah, it seems like, I guess we're getting into it now. We're going to start the trial next next time. And usually the trials, I usually do, each part in one go. And then I'll split it, if I need to, split into however many parts I need to. So it's just a matter of whether I want to split this one or not. But either way, that's for another time. So like I said, in the next episode rather, we start the trial of Gina Lestrade, the defense of Gina Lestrade. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please go ahead and like that button if you're enjoying the series. Hit the notification bell if you want to know, when more of this series or any of my other series go up. Share the video with friends and family, anyone you wish. And subscribe to the channel. That's an important one. Please and thank you. All of this will really help me out and the channel. And of course, I appreciate it. I love you guys. And I'll see you next time. Take care. And bye-bye.